Oopsie daisy.
Nailed it. All right, we're
Stream
live.
go. Stream live.
Stream live go.
Checking sound. Stream live.
Yeah. Da-da-na-na-na-na. Yeah, streams live.
Kind of loud. Maybe I can turn myself down.
You gotta turn yourself down for real?
I'm just a lot louder than you.
Well, that's always
Try
though, right?
system output volume.
Not a part of your system output
That's just
volume,
turning
man.
everything down. This one. Is my volume any lower to
Yeah,
you?
I think it's a little bit lower.
Okay, that worked. Excellent.
Hell yeah.
All right, muting Twitch, making sure that that's in there. That is where I want that to be. Turn that off. And then,
Hello!
Hello.
all right. Well, how's it going, buddy?
Good, man. I'm doing pretty good.
Sweet.
Yeah.
We want to set it up so that we got faces on the stream,
Oh, God.
or we
I
just
wasn't
doing
ready for all
text?
that.
Oh, that's okay.
Sorry, it sounds like a lot of emotional preparation I wasn't ready for.
Oh, we don't have to just run the 23 hours of fucking Death Stranding long play while we talk.
Oh, yeah, that should be fine. Can we get negative viewers? Is that possible?
I wish there were stats for like seeing how fast people tune out.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
Like the
Like
time they
viewer-
spent there.
Right. Like all
And at
of
what
3
sections.
seconds. Right. When they
Yeah.
were there.
That might be a little more, that'd be a fun parameter to use. Like, at what time points look at all the people and see when they drop out. Like, did something happen and, like, half the people drop? You know what I mean?
Was it something I said?
Right. What should I put on screen for fun?
Just run the
slideshow?
YouTube the clips. Or yeah, the slideshow's fine.
Oh, wait, did you set
I
clips
did-
in the room?
I didn't, but it's the same playlist
Okay.
that it has always been.
Okay.
Give me a second. I can send you a link.
I can find it. Here they are.
It's on the YouTube.
It's the FTHM Clips YouTube channel, right? Yeah, I got it.
Okay, cool.
Mm-hmm.
The bottom one is the Death Stranding full gameplay. Blah blah blah.
I don't want to just play somebody's thing.
I mean, it's just the game, and
I guess it is
they
just the
specify
game.
no commentary, so there's no like.
I guess that does not really... What we are doing to them, they're doing to the game.
Right. And I don't know, why would they care?
Yeah. I hope they don't care.
I guess if they do, we'll get a fucking DMCA and not be able to post this video on YouTube. So
Seems fine.
so then I'll have to read the essay to you guys again.
Yeah, I'm cool with that. Third time's charm, in my opinion. Have you seen the trailer or anything for the new Jonah Hill movie, You People?
No.
It looks well. Actually, it doesn't look anything. It's pretty great. I really enjoyed it. It's basically
School?
Jonah Hill plays a Jewish dude in a Jewish family getting married to a black Muslim woman, and it's like about their families interacting, and it's very like heartfelt, and I think tackles some like tough questions and stuff. It's pretty cool. It's got an all-star cast
Like
too.
a
Like Eddie
modern
Murphy
take
is the
on,
woman's dad, who's like a Black Panther.
Okay.
It's pretty cool.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Once you mentioned Eddie Murphy, I was like, oh wait, you know what? I think I have seen or not seen this, but heard someone talking about it. Maybe Gamefully Unemployed. I don't know if you listen to them.
Oh, you've talked about them. I think I've checked them out on your
Good.
on your word. Yeah.
Former Cracked writers, I think.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
cool.
they're the. I
Shout out
found
to
out
Cracked.
about them from the Robert Evans explains Warhammer for 4 hours video,
Oh shit.
which is one of the funniest things I've ever seen.
I love that YouTube video. I've honestly, like, during boring times at work, I've honestly just put on that video and listened to him talk about the story of Warhammer. It's fucking great.
That rules.
I wish he somebody suggested.
That's a way better thing to do at work than work.
I'm working at the same time, but yeah.
Are you a fucking ass?
I am. And don't get me wrong. I'm trying to work as little as possible and get paid as much as possible, but
Yeah, no, for sure.
Somebody-
Nothing wrong with that.
has got to. I don't know where I'm going to go with it. Somebody's got to make the podcast Twitch shows that we're making right now. Nailed it.
I think that's what we're doing, isn't it?
That's what I was trying to describe.
Oh, I gotcha. Yeah. Thank you for queuing me up for the intro, which is happening now. Welcome to How to Kickflip a Horse, mostly weekly, usually role-playing game podcast. What do we call it? Adventure cast.
Yeah.
But this week we're not adventuring. Not really, anyway. We're instead going to be talking about video game Death Stranding, which you may have gathered from the footage of the game playing on the screen. Thank you to Gamers Prey. Don't DMCA us. We're due. It's not that big a deal. We're not trying to steal your content. We just need footage of Death Stranding, this ridiculous game that I'm about to talk about for probably an hour.
Yeah, you shout us out, we'll shout you out. It's all good. We're all friends here.
And for the record, I am Ivan. I am usually a player on How to Kickflip a Horse, but this week I am going to be reading my thoughts on Death Stranding, and I'm joined by my very good friend, my oldest friend, Jesse.
Hi, I'm Jesse, Ivan's oldest friend. I'm
I was
like
gonna say
300 years
but
old.
it's no contest.
You think?
I can't. I mean, like, unless we're counting like my cousin Bennett.
That's actually who I thought of when I said that. But
I mean, he's
that's
the
his
only.
family.
Yeah, he's the
Well-
only person that I chill with any regularity. That
I'm honored.
that I've known longer than you.
I'm honored. You have a lot of really long-term, long-standing friends. Like, I see you hanging out with some people, and I'm like, oh shit, that's awesome. I'm get a little FOMO sometimes. Like, damn.
Oh,
I can't remember
well,
who. Like, you hung out with.
you
Denver
kinda
not
live
too
far
long
away.
ago. I do. I know.
That's true.
I chose this life.
Well, I was closer to you on the trip that I was hanging with Denver than than I am to you now in Philly. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Oh, it's just always FOMO.
we
seeing
we
my
should have thought
boys.
about that.
Oh,
Should have
it's all
thought
good.
about that while I was down there.
It's all good. I don't want to take your attention from your brains. But at least we didn't lose our fucking motorcycles, you fucking idiot. I thought you were a professional.
Oh my god, he crashes his motorcycle so soon. I was like, tight, the game starts with the motorcycle, and then it's like, damn it.
It's like, nah.
He starts walking right away. It's like, oh no.
Nah, the game starts with holding the triggers, motherfucker.
It took me so long to figure that out. It
That
was
you
so
just hold
frustrating.
them the whole time? Yeah.
Yeah, and there's like, I'm sure I mentioned this at some point. Actually, I might not even mention these mechanics. But we'll find out a variety of things that I do mention about Death Stranding as soon as I cheers Jesse this shot of whiskey that I've got.
Woohoo, I have a little sip of beer left.
Delicious. All right, and cheers to you out there in TV land. Thanks for
job.
tuning in to How to Kickflip a Horse presents Triple F Games number 2, Death Stranding.
Hell yes.
Not the bears!
Anyways, Jesse, ask me how Death Stranding was.
Ivan, how was Death Stranding?
Wasn't no fun.
Oh,
And that's my essay. Thanks for tuning in,
Hey.
everyone. Have a good night.
he did it. Well done.
No, I'm just kidding. I'm I'm feeling a little bashful because it's been a while since I've read anything, and I don't feel comfortable launching right into it.
Well, that's okay. Take your time. Do your thing.
That said,
you, me, our friends.
That's true. That said, spoilers, obviously spoilers, for Death Stranding. Part 1, Intro. When I was a wee lad, say about 6th grade, I think that's how time works, I would have been 11 in 1998, right? My parents bought me a PlayStation for my birthday, along with a copy of Metal Gear Solid. Being Luddites as far as game consoles were concerned, the concept of a memory card escaped their purview, and I was left with no option but to repeatedly marathon the game. Maybe I was more patient then. Maybe my standards were lower. But I do not remember being annoyed or befuddled or frustrated at any point throughout my multiple playthroughs of the first half of the game. I would spend hours on weekends glued to the TV, playing through the intro, the initial infiltration onto Shadow Moses Island, the firefight outside the jail cell, the first face-off with Revolver Ocelot, and so on. All the way up to the fight on the roof with the Hind. For the longest time, that was about as far as I could get in a single sitting. If I had a lot of extra time, and if my parents weren't paying much attention to how many hours I was spending in front of the TV, sometimes I could make it all the way to the second sniper wolf fight. That was it. Without a memory card, moving on to the second disc was simply not an option. It was a little disappointing. I held out. Until that point, I had mainly played Sega Genesis, so I was used to arcade-style games where you could really only have one shot to get as far as you possibly could. When you ran out of one-ups and continues, that was it. Back to the beginning. Metal Gear Solid, it was the same. Run out of time in the day, back to the start tomorrow. And ultimately, this was fine. Do you know why?
Are you literally?
Because Metal Gear.
Okay. Sorry,
I mean, if you have any thoughts, I'd love to hear them. But feel free to interject at any time.
Yeah, I mean, we go way back, and I think we both. I think it was before our friendship when Metal Gear Solid we're playing it, right? I mean, like before and into, right?
So we met in 6th grade.
Right.
I don't think we were hanging out on the reg maybe until 7th grade.
Something like that, yeah.
I think at that point though we probably both had played.
Oh yeah. For
if
sure.
not beaten it.
Were you like me and so when Mark, a good friend of ours, Mark, is who I played this game with initially mostly. And we had it on a demo disc, so it was literally. Oh,
I remember that demo.
Yeah, so it literally was just the infiltration of Moses Island up to the elevator shaft, just that first underwater to the caverns. And man, we would just have those motherfuckers chasing us in circles, just tapping and fucking with them. We would do that shit for hours. It was so fun. Do you have any idea how long it takes to get to the Hind or to the second wolf fight? Because those are both pretty far.
Yeah, so I remember the way that you could get the big boss rank at the end of the game was by beating it in I want to say under 4 hours.
Oh my god. So if on God mode you could beat the game in one sitting.
Yeah.
It's like beating Resident Evil 1 in one sitting, right?
I mean, yeah, I never did that for damn sure.
I did that with 2.
I don't think I ever even beat Resident Evil 1.
Oh, what?
Not even the remake. I don't think I even actually played the remake. I remember you having it, but I don't think I ever had it myself or spent any time playing anyone else's copy.
True. It's 6.5 hours for RE1.
That's I feel like one sitting a video game is kind of like one sitting a road trip. If it's 6 hours is kind of the upper limit for one day of travel.
Right. Yeah.
Because after that, no one wants to be in a car ever.
One time, Mark and Danny had stayed up all night beating Resident Evil 1 with no saves.
Oh,
And they were
wow.
at the very end of it, and asked. I remember Danny handed me the controller, and I instantly died.
Oh, no.
It was really bad. He was so upset. I feel terrible about it to this day.
At least you didn't just turn the game off.
Oh my god. Is that a
I
Duck
kinda-
McWhalen reference?
Yeah, for just a second, I thought it was going to be a backhanded Duff McWhalen story.
No. This is a legit my own guilt story.
Oh, man. Well, not,
It wasn't intentional,
Not
and it's a video game. Who cares?
Yeah, also true. Not everyone's cut out for the no-save marathon.
Yeah. Not me.
So, yeah, here we go. With Metal Gear Solid, it was the same. Run out of time in the day, back to the start tomorrow. And ultimately, it was fine. Do you know why? Because Metal Gear Solid was and still is an absolute banger, as we have just discussed at length. I'm pretty sure that at the height of my pre-memory card playthroughs, I could play through that first disc up to the first fight with Sniper Wolf with my eyes closed. I wouldn't be surprised if I could still run through that in under a couple of hours now. Snippets of dialogue, map layouts, boss strategies, all still clang around in the overcrowded cargo hold of my brain.
Mm-hmm.
Every time I see a helicopter, I hear a tiny, solid snake voice in my brain go,
Behind D.
Every time I step on a clanging metal floor, I think about Master Miller's tips for stepping silently by placing your toe first and then lowering your heel before you take the next step.
Mm-hmm.
Every time someone mentions either foxes or jackals, I hear Gray Fox's line,
Cornered fox is more dangerous than a jackal.
What I'm saying is, Metal Gear Solid was good, impactful, and made a lasting impression on me.
Mm-hmm.
It was a truly masterful piece of interactive entertainment. Played within the confines of the spy fiction genre, but pushed them to their limits and artfully subverted them. It added metaphysical discussion to a story about terrorists stealing nuclear weapons. It discussed spirituality, trauma, family, the nature of violence, and the impact of those things on society. The origin and purpose of the human compulsion towards war. It dissected the genre and asked what it says about a society that loves war but hates soldiers, and wondered how the events on battlefields throughout history have shaped our present and will continue to shape our future.
Mm-hmm.
It was a game with a profound understanding of not only what it meant to be a video game, but also what it meant to be a player of video games.
Yeah.
Every segment...
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Oh, don't be sorry.
I was going to make a joke about how every time I try to go through a room with infrared lasers, I light a cigarette. But then you were talking about the quotes that we remember, and I think, and then going into the deeper meaning and lore behind Metal Gear, and I think what sticks with me the most and the way I relate to that the most is most of your interactions with Gray Fox. Like, especially like the hand-to-hand combat. It is the basis of all combat. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then like his dialogue, as spoiler warning, he's getting crushed at the end when he's just like talking about and like just all the stuff, the soldiers on the battlefield and shit. I think that was him that they talked about, or was that?
Oh wait, when his line is like, "Fighting was the only thing I was good at."
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a truly tragic character, and like that's what I feel like that's really what sets that first Metal Gear Solid apart from the other ones. Is like there's like it's cartoony, but it's serious enough internally that it like holds weight, and it presents its stuff like, you know, it takes its subject matter seriously. Like, sure, there's the guy that like poops his pants or whatever, but like he's not an important guy until, as it turns out, Metal Gear Solid 4, Kojima loves people who poop so much that he puts him in that one. It's like the secret hero of the whole series or whatever the fuck happened in Metal Gear Solid 4. That game kind of sucked. That I felt like was really the decline of Kojima.
Wait, where?
Because Metal Gear Solid 4,
Oh, yeah. I never played Beyond Snake.
1, 2, and 3 were all great. Yeah, I played 4 on TJ's PlayStation 3.
Mm-hmm.
Or was
that's
that?
That's
that
where I played
4?
Fallout
I don't
4.
even know.
That's hilarious.
Nice, great game.
Mm-hmm.
Much better than Death Stranding. Not as good as Metal Gear Solid 4.
He got his PlayStation, or he got Fallout 4 came out like 2 or 3 months before like we were ending that lease at our house, and so I just like made sure that I put in the time to beat it. So I wouldn't have to, like,
Just
buy it or
marathoned
anything. Yeah, exactly.
Amazing. I mean, you gotta do what you gotta do.
Gotta do what you gotta do.
I bought my copy of Skyrim just to play it on his PlayStation.
Mm-hmm. What were you playing in Gaston's basement for a while? That was Fallout.
I think that was Fallout 3.
I think so.
Yeah.
Hell
It was, it might have been New Vegas. I think it was 3.
I think so as well.
But boy, have I put a lot of hours into that particular trio of games over the years.
Was that Skyrim 3 and Envy?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I probably not nearly as much on 4, but definitely like mid triple digits, I would guess.
Yeah.
Like close to 400.
Hell yeah. Yeah, I put a lot of time in those games too. I love them. You like
Great.
You beat 1 but not 2?
Yeah, 2 was too hard. I kept getting
2 was
murked
really
by
hard.
randomly spawning power armor dudes, and I lost patience for save scumming.
Yeah, happens. Definitely happens. It was really hard. I definitely had to look some stuff up in that game, and like the final boss is insane.
Oh yeah, I don't even know. I feel like 2 is the one that I like. Obviously, it's the one that I've played the least, but it's the one that I know the least about.
Mm-hmm.
Like whereas like the other games I've gone and like read all the wiki shit about them to like find like the obscure lore, because that's just the stuff that I like.
Yeah, same.
But I never really did that with 2, or if I did, I don't really remember any of it.
Maybe one day. I think 2
someday.
is my personal favorite.
Should just do it with like God mode on or something.
Yeah, or just like look up the way you can make your stats so that you're just like super. I don't know if it's 1 or 2, but in one of them you can immediately go south and just grab power armor.
That's awesome.
Yeah, you can just scum save your way straight down and like go through this area and grab power armor and then just go back and start the game normal with power armor. And you're like, oh wait, now it's fair.
Nice.
Yeah, my tactic.
I'll try that out one of these days.
The Jesse special is to find the first like merchant guy and just scum save rob the shit out of him. And
it's like pickpocket.
Yeah, just pickpocket scum save him, and then don't ever do it again. Just use that loot to get a foundation of money, and then like once you have a bit of a foundation, I've found you can like work it, but you need to get that foundation. So I just like okay, you get this one exception.
I think it's Fallout 1 has the luck glitch. At the gambling table, you can just leave a stack of quarters on the maximum bet button, and it'll just eventually your money will go up.
That's wild.
Yeah.
You get to kill the president in 2.
You get to kill the president in a couple of them.
Oh yeah.
I think you get to kill. Well, you get to kill the president in Metal Gear Solid 2. It was pretty fun.
Yeah, true. True. You can put a grenade.
I feel
in
like
his
you might kill him.
I
feel like you kill another one in a different game.
I love games that change history or in movies, like Inglourious Bastards or the I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream game.
Nice. Yeah. I was just I forget what I was reading, but it was mentioned in it, and they said something that I didn't know before, which was that Harlan Ellison voices the computer.
Yep.
In the actual game. I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, totally. It's pretty cool. I think it's one of those games where it might be more fun to watch a playthrough of it than like actually do it.
Actually play it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's a point-and-click game, which can be frustrating.
Yeah, I have sort of limited patience for that style of game these days.
It's like, just where's
But,
the fucking next thing, dude? Can we move the story on?
Right. Speaking of moving the story on,
Hey,
there's more
segue.
of this intro section,
Let's
about a
fucking
half a
go.
page. Every segment, every scene was tailored to allow unique solutions to each scenario because the designers had designed them to allow for that.
Mm-hmm.
That's why the demo was so fun for so long. It was the first, and I would argue only game I've encountered to effectively and seamlessly break the fourth wall without simultaneously destroying the sense of immersion and going, quote-unquote, full meta. Place where the
Very
internal fiction stops mattering because the writers are ultimately writing about writing. When Psycho Mantis moved your controller, it felt like a real interaction.
Mm-hmm.
Psycho Mantis was reaching beyond the confines of the game disc to say, I see you, I know you're there. Game asked questions that didn't have easy answers, that put you in situations that really inspired deep thoughts on morality, destiny, and responsibility. Let you draw your own conclusions, versus other games that say, fill in the blanks, you dummy, and then act like you should be grateful for the privilege of contributing your own ideas to a shantytown of a narrative. But I digress. Suffice to say, I still think of Metal Gear Solid as the high watermark of interactive fiction over 20 years later, and I suspect I will remember it fondly for at least as many years to come.
Mm-hmm.
Death Stranding, on the other hand, is an experience that I am eager to forget. After penning this essay, I will endeavor to erase as much of the memory of that game as I can, with the aid of weed and alcohol. Hell, I might take some mushrooms and give myself a proper psychic cleanse. I did not enjoy Death Stranding very much. Part 2. Themes. Already, I am encountering difficulty even laying out what Death Stranding is, quote, about. Here, I must ask that the audience recognize that when I ask what a game is about, I am not asking what events occurred during the course of the game. If I was being extremely generous and utilizing my knowledge of what has been said about the game outside of the game, I would say it's ultimately about the idea of making connections. Death Stranding takes place in the former United States, an indeterminable amount of time after an event in which the world of the dead has started bleeding into the world of the living via a realm known as the Beach.
Eek.
These ghosts, called BTs, or beached things, are attracted to the corpses of the recently dead, except when they aren't, which through a process called necrosis causes events called void-outs, which are essentially an antimatter nuclear explosion. They also cause something, or they, being the BTs, also cause something called timefall, which is rain that causes whatever it touches to rapidly age. As a result, the people of the world have isolated themselves into walled subterranean cities called knots, which is always spelled in capitals and ostensibly an acronym, but I never found out what it stands for. They rely on couriers to deliver essential packages from one knot to the next, and you play as one of them, Sam, who's apparently the Michael Jordan of delivery men. We're told as much, never shown though. Sam once had a family who died mysteriously in a void-out. We never learn anything about these circumstances, causing him to isolate himself and withdraw from human connection. He purportedly doesn't believe society is worth a damn, but he still goes out and delivers everyone all their packages, because reasons. Anyway, after his wife is fridged, Sam, I guess, goes off and is sad by himself for a while and develops haphophobia, referred to in the game by its longer, dumber name of... Excuse me. Let me take this again. Aphanphasmophobia.
Good job.
Aphanphasmophobia. Excuse me. There we go.
Nailed it.
Or the fear of being touched. And then, I guess, he just hangs out until the game starts.
Seems fine.
The whole like story of this game is just so dumb and just it's just like, what's anyone doing? This isn't how humans behave.
Yeah.
This is my ongoing critique of this ultimately. Sorry, I got off script there.
No,
Over the
I
course
enjoy
of
it.
the game, we're told, again, not shown, that Sam has gradually formed connections with the chattering faces on his Odra deck, as well as literally connected the many knots across America, and by the end, is totally fine with all this gang of weirdos yoking him up and grabbing on his arms and shoulders and hugging him whenever they feel like it. This falls flat, though, much like what I noted in the God of War 2018 piece, because we don't actually see this develop. Sam is the same dour, po-faced man with extremely crappy legs at the end of the 50-hour journey as he was when we started. This theme also fails to hold water because throughout the game, various characters are introduced and seemingly by virtue of his simply existing, decide that Sam is the important guy, throw their full weight behind supporting him at the drop of a hat. Your behavior is like if I were to start a cult around my mail carrier because I fucking love mail. Under the slightest scrutiny, it falls apart. Characters seem to have no understanding. The characters seem to have no understanding of manufacturing or shipping. Their understanding is like that of an infant who has not yet developed object permanence. This guy brought me the thing I wanted. He's the best, and also, he's the only part of the process that I interact with, and so in my mind, he is the only part of the process. You think the UPS guy handmade the things he brings to you?
Right.
Because that's how everyone in Death Stranding acts.
Yeah, they're all very much like, you're a fucking god for doing it.
It's just buck wild the way that people act the whole game. Like, I know it's like dangerous outside or whatever to regular people who come back from their explosion deaths, or who don't come back from their explosion deaths, but like, it's not that big a deal. It's mail, bud.
Yeah, it's literally like, there's like a few times you like deliver medicine, but it's like the ones that
Yeah,
stick
I
out
mean,
to
like
me are,
some of it's
pizza
there's the pizza missions, which thankfully they only made the first one of those mandatory, hoping that you would be like, haha, I'm delivering pizzas.
Yeah, they.
I was
got me
like,
for one
fuck
doing
this.
them.
This doesn't make any sense. This man does not deserve a pizza, and he's very obviously Troy Baker.
The voice switch ups. How'd you feel about that?
Which voice switch ups?
Like people not having their own voices, even though it's clearly their characters.
Oh, well, for Guillermo del Toro and Nicholas Winding Refn, I understand why they were voiced by other people, because both of them had a shitload of dialogue, and neither of those guys is an actor.
Ah, okay. That makes sense.
I thought it was a real. I mean, I think I talk about this. Let's continue.
Yeah.
I've already been at this for nearly 40 minutes.
Hell yeah.
If we had commercial breaks, it might be one. Anyway, let's see.
I forgot
where
they introduced this fuck so early.
Which fuck? Oh, Troy Baker. Old Gold Skull Mask guy.
Yeah, exactly.
He kills Nikolai.
Fucking Nikolai.
Like an asshole. Anyway, object permanence, only part of the process. A lot of the Chief's supporting characters also just start blathering at you, dumping trauma unsolicited before you've even met them in person. Tell you deeply personal stories of pain, suffering, loss, and anguish, the way a normal human mentions the weather. A lot of them do this before they even tell you their names. Imagine if you were a mail carrier and you rolled up to get a customer to sign for a package, and they were like, "This is the best package I've ever received. Also, my wife and child died in an explosion, and I've been sending myself to the afterlife realm every 20 minutes to look for them ever since. Also, I lost my virginity at 35, I have incurable foot fungus, my dog is sick, and my sink is clogged. Anyway, it's so important that we get to forge connections like this. I love you. You're my best friend."
Meanwhile, in West Philadelphia, South Philadelphia.
The assault of unearned character moments is persistent throughout the game. It doesn't seem like anyone is particularly concerned with connecting until Sam shows up, and the plot dictates that, yeah, making connections is the main thing to do, and we all love making connections now.
Yay.
There's like 2 or maybe 3 side characters, calling them characters strikes me as extremely generous, who are like, I don't know about this whole connection thing, but you can go ahead and use my 3D printer and be my most trusted confidant anyway.
Mm-hmm.
But then you deliver one more package to them, and they're like, connecting is tight. It's like a dating game, where you can just assault your chosen NPC with gifts until they love you, absent of any capability to interact with them in a meaningful way, specifically not utilizing player choice or agency whatsoever. You have to form these connections because the game tells you to. Characters decide they want to form connections because the plot necessitates it. There's nothing meaningful said about how these connections are formed, why humanity forms connections the way it does, let alone the principles of cooperation versus competition. Nothing. It happens because someone in the design studio said so. Thematically, it rings absolutely hollow. There are no questions, no uncertainty, no intellectual curiosity in the expression of this idea. It is the thematic equivalent of someone writing "connection equals good" on a whiteboard, then expecting effusive praise.
Mm-hmm. It's basic, like, it's exactly, I mean, it's exactly what it is.
What was that noise?
No, I mean, like,
Go
I
ahead.
think it's funny. You fucking nailed it.
Thanks.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see if you think the same of this next paragraph.
Yes.
Excuse me. If I were to dig even deeper into my barrel of generosity, I might suggest that another theme is family. True, many of the principal characters are related, and one of the central quests is about reuniting Sam with his estranged, kidnapped sister. Many of the supporting cast have stories also dealing with their family members, and we get told numerous times that family is, like, super important.
Mm-hmm.
But is it? At the very beginning of the game, we meet Sam's mom, who is the president, and who dies immediately.
This is impeccable timing, by the way.
Oh, is this happening on the stream? Sick. Amazing. This isn't given a ton of fanfare, however, and then we have to take her body to an incinerator to prevent the aforementioned void out.
Eek.
Then we find out that Sam's kidnapped sister is the new president. No election.
You know what that means.
Right, I'm pretty sure it's safe to say that fascism has taken hold in the United Cities of America.
Yep.
This also doesn't seem to matter, though. No one says anything about the presidency being passed this way, which suggests that the title is sort of an anachronism, but again, never expanded on. Over the course of the game, we're shown repetitive scenes of Sam and his sister Amelie, short for America, hanging out on the beach. But this connection isn't really explored until the very end, when the game insists that it's because of your connection, which we've never been shown. Sam doesn't seem to care.
Ourselves the whole fucking game.
Right? It's so just incongruous.
Yeah, a Mega Man is more about connection than this.
I've connected with Scissors Man.
Exactly.
And he's given me the gift of shooting scissors from my arm.
And it's extremely effective against Woodman.
Right, now I can connect with Woodman. It would have been, I mean, I'm not going to lie and say I don't think this game could have potentially benefited from Mega Man style boss battles.
I'm saying, like it gets easier to walk.
Right. I've defeated Bootsman, and now I don't have to hold both triggers while I walk.
I can't wait to get the fucking Jetpack Man.
Oh my god, I wish there was Jetpack Man.
Did you?
That would have been tight. I love jetpacks. There should have just been. There should have been. There was zipline, which was fine. It cost too much.
Yep.
There should have been grappling hook.
The highway
and
was
glider.
okay for a bit. Grappling hook and glider would have been good. The highway. So did you like? Are servers still?
The highways
active?
were cool.
Did you have
but
people like doing stuff with you?
Too expensive. I mean, every time I logged in, it said that like people had sent me likes and like used my stuff. But there were certain parts of the game where I was like, it seems like no one has ever been here ever.
So you never got the cool experience of coming to a thing that like you wouldn't have been able to cross.
I did sometimes. Like I would definitely. There were like regular bridges in a couple of like a good handful of places that they were useful.
It was the coolest part. I played it in the height of Death Stranding, so it was probably a lot cooler in that sense. But it was cool because like each of us would put a piece into the highway, and so like eventually there were these big stretches of highways that we could drive on, which were pretty cool.
Sure, I spent a good amount of time actually trying to restore those because I guess at that point I didn't really understand that it was supposed to be a communal thing. And after 50 hours playing it, I was like, oh, no one else is contributing to any of these. This game sucks shit.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of like it's a cool idea, right? But like it does not stand the test of time.
No, not at all.
Stop playing the game. Like there's no sense of like when people are going to want to play the game unless you like do stuff.
Well, so I started playing it right after it was free on the Epic Store, which
so it was probably popping. You're right.
Right, but it didn't seem like a lot of people played it to completion.
And you know what's fucked up? Epic servers.
Oh, that's true. They were down for like the first 2 days it was out too because they accidentally put up the director's cut, which I think I still have. Not that it matters at all, but apparently they were going back and deleting people's director's cut copy because they put it up by accident.
Christ. Yeah, as a Rocket League player, I can safely say, fuck Epic servers.
Fair. Yeah, they don't seem great at what they do, but I wouldn't dream of trying to dissuade them from giving me a free game every week because sometimes those games are bangers, but then other times they're Stranding.
Nailed it.
But continuing on, Sam doesn't seem to care about his mom or his sister or his primary love interest at the beginning of the game, and by the end of the game, he still doesn't seem like he does, even though I guess he cries in one scene and we're again told that he cares about his family. The only thing I felt like he legitimately cared about was BB, the bottled infant he carries around that lets him see the BTs. BB, or Bridge Baby, provides some actual utility and spends almost the whole game strapped to Sam's chest. So this is one of the few connections we actually see. The only one in the game that holds any weight whatsoever, and Sam still barely acts like he cares. When Sam hooks himself up to BB, we're also shown numerous, like a ton, of scenes from BB's point of view interacting with a mysterious man. This man shows up later because he wants BB back, or so we think. And we find out his name is Cliff, and that his family was entered into the BB program without his knowledge. Then he gets killed. Then he comes back with the ability to control BTs and cause storms that pull you into battlefields of the past.
Yeah, don't worry. Not getting killed is the exception in this world.
It really seems that way, because it seems like there's 5 or maybe 6 people in the world, except in the scene where the president dies, because there's like 25 people in there, and then they're like, we have to keep this a secret.
This is the whole government,
like,
but we're the whole United Cities. This is all of us. Every city's a single person. That's what I got to feel like every time I went to one of these civilizations. I didn't feel like I got to a civilization. I felt like it was just one person at a city.
Yeah, there's just the guy who answers the door, and it's like, are there people hanging out here? Like, does anyone, you guys just sit inside? Like, at least come hang out on the porch. It's not gonna get rain on the porch.
Are you guys just
sitting
my
on
whole
your motorcycle
shower
down
toilets? Here? Like, what's happening? Drinking Monster?
Somehow I'm still not clean.
The monster killed me. I really did not like the monster placements.
I liked that after you do the one mission for the brewer, it turns into beer.
I might have missed that.
Oh yeah, I think it was. I think I did it before I was able to tell the difference between side quest and main quest.
Yeah,
because they don't really differentiate them.
Nope. Yep. There's definitely that.
Everywhere I went, I was like, "Fuck, more missions."
I can't do all of these.
You want too much. I'm just one guy. Anyway. Cliff's familial story is one of the only ones that makes sense. It's like Cliff's family and the Sam and BB relationship. Because what dad wouldn't want to do some spy shit to get their stolen bottled kid back?
Straight up.
Cliff is also played by Mads Mikkelsen, who is a genuinely great actor. Great to the point that he can shine even in this huge, rancid turd of a game.
Got him.
Him getting drunk on his still wife's birthday, dancing and singing to BB was one of the only instances that I recognized as being genuinely human.
Yeah,
whereas everyone else in the game acts like straight up aliens. What were you gonna say? I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm just saying that shit was like,
It was good. That's like that's an A+ performance from Mads Mikkelsen. Every other emotional beat I struggled to care about because they were utterly devoid of context. While I was told that Sam was making connections with the world he inhabited, I, the player, was utterly cut off. I found myself asking, "What the fuck?" and not in a fun way, roughly every 10 minutes. Almost every time a character said something, it was essentially a non sequitur or a reiteration of something I'd already been told. And when it wasn't, it was some revelation that fell flat because it was devoid of context and draped in unearned importance. Part 3. What's that? Go ahead.
Just like the bold parts, they just kind of like... I can't think of a specific example, but I remember instances of there being like... It's like, if this was so important, why am I just learning about it now?
Right. There were so many parts where people were like explaining stuff to Sam that there's no way he could exist in the world without knowing about.
Right. It's just like, that should be common knowledge. Like, what the fuck?
Like, I understand that, like, I'm the player, but, like, I can see, like, they already did the timefall thing, and then every motherfucker at the beginning of the game is like, you gotta watch out for the timefall because it'll make you fucking old or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's like, dude, why is that what you're explaining? Right. I want to know why the ghosts make me cry. I want to know fucking what happened between Sam and his mom and his sister.
Yeah.
Like,
and also,
they just never really talk about any of it.
And they get protected by the rain from these weak-ass hoods.
I mean, fucking Fragile has, like, a slotted umbrella. There is no way an umbrella with that shape keeps anyone dry. She is getting timefall on her when she uses that thing.
Yeah. Kojima, have you ever been in the rain before?
Right. What does rain do? I don't know.
Move one step forward in the rain, and you're wet. I don't care what space hood you're wearing.
Right.
like what happens if he accidentally touches, like he scratches his face?
There's
wet glove.
There's just so much that just doesn't read at all.
Suspend your disbelief in black tar.
Right. Suspend it by its toes from the ceiling, I guess.
Oh man. Going into the cities too, sorry, it's at that part in the video, but like just how much like dead space you had to run from like the entrance of one of the cities to like the interaction point was just like, Jesus Christ.
The fact that you can't drive any of these trucks that he's about to walk past.
They're all
just like, no.
He was like, wait, I thought I was the only one that delivered mail.
Right, where is everyone? And there's parts where they talk about like all the other couriers, and it's like I have not interacted with a single one. I get their thumbs ups or whatever, but like,
Yep.
you can't tell me that this world has this many people in it and I just never see them.
Yeah, I got the impression that they were like 5 couriers. Like, are all these buildings supposed to be full of people? No, they live underground because of the timefall. Anyway.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's none of this fucking. It's a hot mess the whole way through. It doesn't make any fucking sense. My buddy Matt, who I play golf with Denver with pretty frequently, video game golf, not real life golf.
Real life golf.
Would not be caught dead playing real life golf. That shit probably sucks and is hard.
Yeah, that's really hard. That's for sure.
But he also picked up the Death Stranding on the Epic Store, and we were talking about it briefly during a game, and he was like, "Dude, it's so cool! I fucking love it. It's so like weird and like out there, and like, you know, all this cool weird stuff going on." At the beginning, and I was like, "Oh man, I don't like it at all. I don't want to be like Matt. You're wrong,
I want to yuck your yum."
But then by the end of it, we were talking about. By the time he finished it, we were talking about it again, and he was like, "Yeah, none of that shit made any sense. That was really that really sucked. Like, it was a huge bummer that nothing like got put together.
Right.
It was just this long string of nonsense." And I was like, "Sorry, dude."
I agree.
That said, part 3, writing. Now let's look at why those themes failed to make an impact. Writing. As I stated in my God of War essay, writing is the mechanism upon which every other aspect of the game is hinged. When the writing is lazy, the media is dumb. I just read an article sourced below. I guess I'll send that link into the chat, I guess. Here we go. I'll try to remember to that in the YouTube description as well. It's a Snopes page. I know Snopes doesn't have. I mean,
Snopes is fine.
As far as fact-checking organizations go, I think they're better than a lot of them.
Yeah.
Though they are not untarnished. But no one's free of bias.
Leave Snopes alone. They're good. They got a good idea.
It expands and clarifies the thing I'm about to cite.
Okay.
I just read an article that said 54% of Americans between the ages of 16 and 76 read at or below a 6th grade reading level. This at first shocked me, then gave me solace. I'm not insane. It really is that half of the people around me at any given time are actually just dumb as fuck. The American government has been intentionally lowering standards since at least 2001 in an appreciable and measurable way since the W. Bush administration introduced the deleterious No Child Left Behind policy.
Which we were proud of.
Yes, by the time I was in the 8th grade, I had watched my arts-focused middle school transition almost immediately into a test-focused high school. Every class, we learned how to take the test, not how to assimilate or utilize the things we learned. We learned things like, on a multiple-choice test, C is most often the correct answer. Did we learn why? No. Death Stranding doles out its exposition very similarly. It asks for a huge amount of buy-in and delivers very little on its returns. Here's a short selection of things that don't make any sense and that are never expanded on in the game. I'm going to take a sip of water before this because it's not a short list.
Doozy.
Excuse me. Number 1, the water cycle. Numerous times throughout the game, Sam falls into streams and lakes and bullshit. It's never said whether this water is composed partially or entirely of timefall, the rain that rapidly ages whatever it touches. And, beyond the fucking whale ghosts, is ostensibly the reason people stay in their knots and bunkers. What about the oceans? At one point, we cross a lake in a boat. The boat doesn't seem affected by the water in which it sits in any negative way. 1A. In the very beginning, Sam gets a little time fall on him and a spot of his hair turns gray. This never happens again, and the spot of hair is never shown again. We're never told how deeply timefall affects what it touches, and so its capabilities change as necessitated by the story. 1B. When Fragile, a character who is there to be fast travel, I guess, gets soaked from neck to toe in one of the more creepy scenes of sexual objectification in Kojima's oeuvre, we're led to believe that it's aged more than just her skin and that as a result she doesn't have much time left. 1B.1. No one, even the character herself, pronounces Fragile the same way. Does it rhyme with agile or Jill? 1C. When Mama, a brilliant scientist and engineer who is reduced to her biological ability to reproduce, gets pinned in the rubble after a terrorist attack on a hospital with only her face exposed to the open air above her, it is implied that she survives off dripping rainwater, which somehow isn't timefall, because I guess we forgot timefall exists in that particular flashback. 1C.1. Mama tells us that void outs are ultimately caused by the antimatter of BTs coming into contact with the matter of our reality. She then feeds her ghost baby, which is made of antimatter, her breast milk, which is made of matter, and does not cause a void out.
Stephen Hawking rolling in his grave.
Number 2. The chiral network. We're told that exposure to chiralium and BTs makes people cry. But sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes the USB drives Sam wears around his neck make him cry. Sometimes they don't. Same with the chiralgrams. But the chiralgrams at numerous points get used in a room with multiple people in it, and no one cries.
Nope.
The entire sequence of the president's death winds up being a chiralgram, but no one in the room cries the whole time until there's a close-up and crying equals drama. 2A. After the president dies, Die Hardman declares that her death must be kept secret after a room full of masked medical staff and attendants and Sam the mail carrier were all there to witness it. 2A.1. One of the medical staff is also very strongly implied to be Higgs, the cartoonish idiot villain, receiving a notably suspicious look from Sam and being voiced by fucking Troy Baker, the guy who voices Higgs. 3. United Cities of America. What happened? There's no explanation for how we got to where we are when the game starts.
Yes.
If this is supposed to be our America, just in the future, how did we get there? How long has it been? What happened in the rest of the world? We're shown people with accents from other countries, so it's implied that people have, since the Stranding event, been able to cross the oceans. But why would they? 3A. When Die Hardman declares that Amelie will replace her mother as the president, no one bats an eye. This is not how presidencies are passed on, as far as I'm aware, and if that process has changed, I would have liked to know why. I would have liked to know why and how. 3B. We're told at various points that the Stranding event began 3 years ago, that the BB program has been going on for decades and coincided with Bridget's presidency and the Death Stranding event, that Sam's family died in a void out 10 years ago, and that Clift served in the military in the 90s and 2000s. It is impossible, given the events of the rest of the game, to tell when any of this stuff is actually supposed to have happened.
Yep.
Number 4. Sorry, would you...
No, I'm just agreeing. Like... And I'm
it's
wondering,
really frustrating, isn't it?
is that like supposed to be? Is it supposed to be intentionally vague, obtuse with the time? I don't know. If it is, it's annoying.
If it is, it doesn't give you anything to let you know that.
Right.
It's just it might as well take place in fantasy magic world.
Yep.
Why? If it's as different as it is with no explanation, why call it America? Unless Hideo Kojima is on some weird Ayn Rand glory of the working man shit.
Mm.
But BioShock already did that.
Yep.
Anyway, number 4, the BTs. These guys are supposed to be super scary, but you can kill them with your blood grenades and piss grenades really easy. The piss grenades is my favorite part of the game. That is like one solid point for this game. That's all you're getting from me. More games need piss and blood grenades.
The piss mushrooms were pretty good
choices.
too.
That was pretty funny. It was funny when like you would see the big clusters of them after a really difficult area.
Yep.
At certain points before a boss fight, other characters will say stuff like, run for it, or whatever, trying to show that they're afraid of the boss. If you try to run, though, you're gonna get game overed. Unlike other times, when running works, unless the BT decides to one-shot you. 4A. At certain points after a boss fight, one of your retinue will exclaim stuff to the effect of, we don't know how you did it, referring to how you killed the boss by using the aforementioned blood and piss grenades, just like you've done every other time you've incidentally had to fight one of these things because you didn't sneak good enough. Or B, if the BTs are made of antimatter and the explosions are caused by them coming into contact with matter, why does it necessitate a dead body to complete the necrotization process to cause a void out?
But not breast milk.
Not breast milk, not gonna do it. Or C. Late in the game, we're shown some other kind of BT. Big floaty blobby dudes, totally unlike the humanoid, whale-like, or dog-like versions we've seen before. This is never addressed. Number 5. Deadman. Deadman tells you basically out of nowhere, in regards to absolutely nothing, that he's a Frankenstein's monster. Apparently he's got some illness, I think, or maybe he's just a weirdo. It has required him to have like 80% of his body parts replaced with parts from corpses. 5A. Deadman says this causes him to not have a soul, which means he doesn't have a beach or a seam, the places that souls go depending on what's convenient for the story at the moment, and to be unable to travel through other people's beaches like Fragile and Sam do. This doesn't stop him, however, from being the one to travel to Sam's beach with BB at the end of the game to pull him back to the world of the living. 5A.1. Why don't the corpses Deadman is made from necrotize? I could go on.
There's so much about Deadman that is like, what the fuck?
It was like when they first brought it up, I was like, cool, finally something that actually sounds interesting, and then they just don't ever talk about it again. You have one conversation with him, he pins you in the shower like a complete creep.
Yeah.
That's it.
What, like, why is, I just want to know why an already dead tissue that's somehow not potentially causing the void outs is better than your living tissue. And how, like, I don't know.
I mean,
I get that it's diseased, but
no, I think actually what the explanation is, and I think this is pretty much verbatim what Kojima said was,
kiss my ass!
Yeah.
Sorry, I've been underutilizing the soundboard.
You got me with that one. I thought you were gonna go for real.
No, I would never. Anyway, I could go on. I could make a whole video just reading a list of unanswered questions, and it would be like an hour long, I bet. Anyway, as you can tell, there was little hope for anything coherent being pulled out of this heap. Narrative plays Calvin Ball with its rules, and logic is the name of the most embarrassing rapper I can think of, rather than the tool by which a narrative maintains verisimilitude. Again, like a fucking Marvel movie, music cues and the language of film are used to imitate moments of drama and comedy without actually earning those beats. Music swells sadly so we know we're supposed to be sad while watching a soulless facsimile of a human gnash their teeth and grunt. Characters all but pull camera looks from the fucking Office to let us know there's been a joke. Instead of being written in a way that demonstrates things like character traits and motivations, we're just told, this one is funny, and this one is sad. React accordingly.
Yep.
EYO gravitas. It sucks.
Yep. Yep, it's just like fucking Paul wearing gold armor. You know what I mean? It's
Right,
like, it's just
right.
a dumb like
that doesn't
like
make
the
any
dumbed
sense.
down-
Why is it gold?
Right. It's like, and you're just giving people that are used to having these cues the cue of like Paul, good guy, and it's like no.
Right, or I think the single most egregious line, the line from the Dune movie that like continues popping into my brain and continues insulting me is the part where Paul goes, "What's a sand compactor?" And Jason Momoa holds up a thing that looks like a fleshlight and says, "This is a sand compactor," and everyone laughs for no reason because that's not a joke.
Oh my god.
That is, it's just not. Like, they say it like it's a joke. It's structured like it's a joke. If it was actually unambiguously a straight up modern day fleshlight, like a branded fleshlight down the side, that would be a joke.
Right.
It's not.
It's like
It's just,
no.
it's just the thing that makes me want to scream.
Yeah.
Like, I hate it.
Make it an action.
I hate it so much.
Yeah. It's
And
a
I
laugh
felt-
track. It's like you're just queued up.
It's exactly a fucking laugh track.
Oh my god.
You know what I say to laugh tracks, though?
Boo! Boo this laugh track.
But yeah, that was I had that sensation repeat throughout this game. So many times was I just going, "What the fuck does that mean?
Yep.
That's nothing. That's nothing. That was barely a sentence."
Right. This is a hollow. You know, it's just a fake.
Like, yes, these are words, but they're not words a human would say.
Right. It makes no sense.
It didn't make any sense. At no point did I find myself engaged with the story the game was trying to tell me, because every time I thought about what was happening for more than 5 seconds, my immersion unraveled like so many 90s emo sweaters.
Hey.
But what of the gameplay, you ask? That last one was definitely the worst joke in this whole thing.
Oh, I love
Forgive
that.
me for that one. I should delete that.
Mm-mm.
But what of the gameplay, you ask? Surely I couldn't have stood to slog through over 50 hours of something I've described as so mind-numbing and jarringly lazy as I've done so far if the gameplay wasn't any good, right? Buddy, you have not yet begun to understand the depth of my willingness to suffer, because holy shit, the gameplay was so bad. Part 4. Gameplay. Do one more sip of water here. Imagine shitting in your pants. Or rather, imagine shitting on your pants. You've pulled your pants down around your ankles, but instead of sitting on a toilet, you remain standing and defecate, your turds splattering about your feet and calves. Then, you pull your pants up. It's at this point you realize you have to walk to Colorado with a backpack full of bowling balls, and your bones are made of Laffy Taffy. It's not a nightmare. It's the most accurate description of what it feels like to walk around in Death Stranding that I could come up with. A game whose main mechanic of traversal and exploration is walking around. There were moments, say shy of 20 hours in, where I did find myself thinking, you know, I can see why some people like this game. It does admittedly look cool. There is something meditative about traversing a calm, quiet world. I've enjoyed this aspect of plenty of games. However, the fact that the controls and traversal systems seem to be actively hostile to the player and their time made it nearly impossible for me to enjoy anything about the game. I will admit that I did enjoy driving the motorcycle when I finally got to it. But in retrospect, I think this was largely influenced by the relief I felt at no longer having to death grip the trigger buttons to keep Sam from going Ministry of Funny Walks on me. Climbing was also terrible. Once again, we essentially Skyrim horse our way up stuff, leaving the paths and traversability of any given area up to chance. I also don't know if traversability is a word. Microsoft Word underlines it in red, but I couldn't discover a word that it actually would be. I think traversability is, I think that makes sense.
It definitely gets the idea across.
At the very beginning of the game, there's a waist-high shelf of rock directly between Sam and his destination. You can't climb it. Like Red Dead Redemption 2, there are also huge swaths of this open world that are impossible to traverse, even with the, upgrade shit. Find yourself wandering up a slightly steep hill in some places and will be shunted backwards onto your ass with no notice because this part of the map isn't open, you fool. Crafting menu is extremely opaque, with multiple versions of the same item crammed next to each other and the name of each item having to scroll after a couple seconds for you to see what it actually is. The fact that you can't share resources between bases adds an additional layer of tedium, turning participation in the central mechanic of Stranding into mercilessly boring busy work. Combat against BTs is repetitive. Sneak till you don't, or till the game decides that you can't. Get dragged off the beaten path, throw grenades at the BT until it dies. If you don't have enough grenades, just load your last save and stock up. Fighting humans is also ridiculously boring and repetitive, as Sam has one punch-punch-kick combo that can KO any human enemy if Sam shoulder tackles them first. There's like a million types of guns, but since the game insists that dead bodies are dangerous, I have no clue why we would need a pistol, a rifle, a shotgun, a machine gun, and like 4 types of grenade launcher to fight dudes we're not really supposed to kill. So I only ever use the grenades on BTs and the PPK on humans. Admittedly, I was playing on easy. My only game overs happened one time I tried to run from a story-dictated boss fight, the one that Mama tells you to run from, and one when I dropped some story-specific package into the mud by accident. These happened after being told the whole game that when Sam dies, it still causes a void out, but these times it didn't. Every aspect of the gameplay was as clunky and uneven as the story. If the main goal of your game is to set up systems that let you skip the main parts of your game, I think it is safe to say that you should just skip those parts of your game.
If you're gonna give my man Mario's punch-punch-kick combo, I better be able to fucking triple jump and belly slide long jump. Which,
oh my god, it would be so good if you could
right?
triple jump and belly slide.
Just imagine Death Stranding, except for you control Mario in Mario 64.
See, that would have made it an immeasurably more fun game. It wouldn't have made it better, it wouldn't have made the story better, but it would have not made me want to, fucking scream and throw my computer out the window every time I, ate shit down a hill.
Right.
Oh,
I got so mad trying to get the fucking truck up a hill one time. I was so pissed.
I tried driving the truck that I stole from one of the fucking bad guys. I don't know what they're called. I was like, oh my god, this is terrible. Give me my bike back. Fuck this.
No, the truck's awful. It's like the Warthog and the fucking Sweet Tooth had a fucking baby. 2 worst driving vehicles I can think of.
Amazing. Holy shit. Anyways, if the main goal of your game is to set up systems that let you skip the main parts of your game, I think it's safe to say that you should just skip those parts of your game. Similarly to how I will be recommending that people skip this entire piece of shit game.
Ironic, because we're making you watch it.
What's that?
Ironic, because we're making them watch it.
Well, before I played it, I watched a good couple hours of it, and just, I guess, convinced myself that I wasn't paying enough attention.
Wow. You? That's, yeah.
Well,
that's
I was
stretch, bud.
I was just reading stuff in the background, but
sure.
No. Alright, part 5. conclusion. I did debate trying to divide this up into as many chapters as I possibly could because that's kind of what Death Stranding does.
Oh, I like it.
And like I would call part 5 conclusion, but we wouldn't actually end until like part 12.
Yeah. Oh my god, that's hilarious.
I couldn't quite muster up that many pages.
There's a chapter for each of the members of HTKAH.
I just talk about all of you guys for 3 pages each, but without actually saying anything about you.
Right.
Like nothing of substance, just exactly. Like things that I know that you have done, maybe, but not how you like felt or thought about them, right. Or like what anyone's reaction was.
Just hard minute facts.
Jesse has brushed his teeth at least 5,000 times.
Right. Oh my god.
Ari's blood pressure is regular. Alright, part 5, conclusion. So here we are, 50 hours and dozens of brain cells down the drain. And what have I got to show for it? I could end this essay pretty much the same as my God of War piece, railing against the increasing disposability of... Oh, wrote that sentence bad. Against the increasing disposability of and disheartening move towards sense organ feelies of modern entertainment media. This time I'm going to end it by putting responsibility for the current state of AAA development at the feet of the so-called auteurs and the spineless yes-men that enable them. I'm not declaring that Kojima is not an artist. I'm not really saying that Death Stranding doesn't contain any art worthwhile. Again, it does look cool. Koji Shinkawa's mechanical designs are unique and weird, and Mads Mikkelsen's performance is great.
There were some really great sceneries, some really nice shots.
There's a lot of stuff that looks really cool in it, for sure. What I am saying is people have got to stop letting these auteurs just do whatever they want. Someone has got to second-guess them at some point. It's healthy to have someone around to poke holes in your ideas. It's smart to hear multiple points of view on a project. You get editors to proofread, to test for clarity, to make sure that the stuff you're writing down isn't a nonsensical drag-ass slog. I know that means very little coming from me, a guy who just talked for an hour or whatever about a bad video game. But at least I got someone I trust to point out my mistakes and make sure my ranting actually makes the point I'm trying to make and doesn't disappear up its own butthole. As an artist, I resent this type of behavior in the media I consume. As an audience member, I resent being talked down to or having an artist's keys jangled in my face to attempt to distract me with a shiny, noisy jumble. I resent having meaning supplanted by spectacle. George Lucas is a great example. No one would tell him no for the Star Wars prequels, which is why they're bloated nonsense. When a piece of fiction doesn't have an underlying meaning or message, it really shows. When a guy whose career has been basically nothing but successful loses the constraints that made those projects shine, they're going to churn out goofy bullshit that only makes sense to them. And we get the legions of people who can't distinguish their own nostalgia for a thing from objective quality, or through their own insecurity will straight up lie about whether they get it or not. It then feeds into the fake idea of the auteur, and the dogshit Ouroboros once again swallows its tail. If you ask me, I'll take your listening or reading this far as asking me... Oh, I read that weird. Sorry. I think we should bring back the memento mori. In ancient Greece or Rome or whatever, I'm not a historian. When a new emperor was crowned, there would be a dude that got hired to follow him around on his first day. Whatever the emperor said or did, the memento mori would whisper in their ear, "Remember, one day you will die."
Yes, I want this back.
In addition to being badass, I think this ritual served a very important purpose, to remind those in power that they are fallible and temporary, as are we all. I think that if someone could hang around with game and movie directors and whisper, "Remember, this game sucks," or "Remember, you're just a lucky dumbass," you might get more media that is honest with itself and its audience. More media that actually has something to say, and moreover, media that has something important to say that will resonate with its audience on a deeper, more satisfying level. While this idea might not solve everything, I don't believe that there's much potential for it to make things any worse. 6. Thanks. The How to Kick Flip a Horse gang and the viewers at home for listening to my rant.
Hell yeah.
And to Jesse for proofreading and editing.
That's me. You're welcome.
And thanks for hanging out and listening to me, buddy.
Yeah, man.
Thanks for your comments and taking this little trip with me.
Yeah, thanks for writing this. It's been fun. I enjoy your opinions on things. I get a little lost in my head sometimes down sidetracks. I'm like, is all rain timefall?
See, that's what I'm saying. That's a question that I would have loved to have answered. Right? Why isn't the moss all just like super tall?
You're 2/3 timefall. All humans are.
Nah, he's 2/3 monster, dude.
Oh shit. Beer in your game.
Yeah, man.
Which is sweet.
2/3 beer myself.
Hey, I had a 7%er. I didn't realize. I was like, oh, I'm good. It's like I'm not trying to have 15% of beer. I'd have a beer. Thanks, Squirrely. I hope Arya's okay. Who knows where he went?
Yeah, maybe he was like, I didn't play that piece of shit game. I'm not trying to hear that.
Maybe the fucking
He said,
"Call me your bed. I don't want to hear that shit."
I don't want to hear that shit. What did maybe got caught by one of the ghosties, the BTs.
Oh yeah, he probably got he probably saw a BT and it was like,
let me pull on your dick a little while.
Yeah, that'll do it. I mean, how could you say no to that? This landscape is pretty. Like when you zoom too far out, it kind of looks like it's a little repetitive, but like I do remember a couple times going over the mountains and being like, that's a pretty nice feeling.
Sure. There's that one like little armpit area that you can't like get into by any other like route that goes through the almost like jungle area. Mm-hmm. That was pretty cool. Mm-hmm. But it's just covered in BTs and you can't carry that many pissnades.
Nope. Yep, hard to explore. Oh! This dude just ran through the BTs. He didn't give a fuck.
I mean, by the end, that's what I was doing. Yeah. If I didn't have to fight them, I just bolted.
Yeah, I got caught by one the first time and dealt with it and was like, I'm not doing this again. So after that, every time I got caught, I just fucking restarted. I was like, I'm not doing this.
Yep.
I don't have time for this long-ass, tedious-ass shit.
It took so long.
For no reason.
Everything in the game was just so slow.
Yeah. It just took forever. It took forever. Like this.
It's also really weird that there's like not any like it's like we were talking briefly about like why is it America? Mm-hmm. Like there's no like landmarks or anything. Like I guess you cross one of the Great Lakes, but they never say which one, and they never like show you it. Like there's no like why isn't there a Grand Canyon? Why isn't there like I don't know. Why isn't there fucking anything?
Right.
It just is all grass and rocks the whole way across, except where it's snow. And it's like, well, that's not what anything looks like.
Right, exactly.
Like, which again brings me back to why even bother calling it America? Call it fucking, I don't know, Oz or something. Call it Die Hard Land.
Die Hard Land, Dead Land.
I am Die Hard Land because I am sworn to protect Die Hard Land. And then it would make a little bit more sense.
Mm-hmm. And let them shoot energy balls.
Extremely dumb, but it would make more sense than it currently does for everyone to be like, we've gotta preserve America. We've gotta reconnect America. Also, your sister's the president because your mom died. It's like, well, that's not.
She got president genes.
There's not really anything else recognizable about this being America to me. Looks more like Iceland.
Yeah, it is. Ireland, maybe.
Sure.
The Lins.
Probably not America.
And then these, like, elaborate fucking cities. It's so weird. There's just so much above ground
you only
that's like,
go
why?
Into one room in.
Right. And, like, why is anything built above ground?
Right. And why isn't it, like, why isn't it constantly deteriorating? Why does some stuff last and some stuff doesn't?
Right.
Make any fucking sense?
Who cuts the grass? Like,
Stupid. Who cuts the grass? Indeed.
who cuts the damn grass?
Why can't you drive that Jeep to the left, or that Jeep to the left, or that Jeep to the left?
Which side of the road do you think
no one
they
else,
drive on?
if no one else goes outside, why can't I drive those Jeeps? Doesn't make any goddamn sense.
You know what
Piece
happened
of
to
shit.
the last guy that asked that question?
What's that?
It turned him into a BB.
А ну, чики-брики в дамке!
Yep. The kingdom. It's amazing. I
Anyways.
forgot about Dooms. Oh my god.
Another thing, just ostensibly an acronym, never tell you what it stands for.
Nope.
Never tells you what it actually does. Like, it makes you, I don't know, makes you a main character in Death Stranding, I guess, if you get Dooms.
I guess so. Thanks, Norman.
I also had a real hard time, like, I'm not saying that he hasn't been in movies that I've enjoyed, but I have a hard time not seeing Norman Reedus as the
Walking Dead guy?
as the sidekick from Blade 2.
Oh, there you go. That's better than me. I still can't get him out of
Which
Walking
was
Dead.
coincidentally directed by Guillermo del Toro.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Shout out. We do like Del Toro.
It's funny when these dudes are just like buds and just keep putting each other in all their stuff.
Yeah.
I guess that's kind of one of the auteur things. Like that's like you know, Tarantino does that all the time, and Miney Refn does it all the time.
Yeah. It
Guillermo
always comes
does it
down
with,
to people need to
Strand.
communicate more. It always is. It's always about, like, when we read the D&D questions on Reddit, it's always like, just talk.
Right.
Just ask them about it.
Right. Just think about what you're going to say before you say it,
Mm-hmm.
and then behave like a reasonable adult.
Exactly.
People are like, but I don't wanna.
No.
I wanna complain on Reddit.
I gotta make it about me.
And I'm just like,
Mamma mia!
Yep. That's exactly it.
and I.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, that was
We're
the
good.
trifecta.
Yeah, we're gonna get you your own show where you just play with sounds. You're
I
a
would love
DJ
that.
now.
I wish I could be, like, I want to be like just the sound effect guy on someone else's show. I think that would be a really fun job.
Oh yeah, that could be fun. I could see you being good at that.
Be like,
Yes, exactly.
all right, now that I've completely alienated our audience, I think that's a good spot to stop. We're at 10 p.m. here. We've been going
Yeah.
for how long have we been
Hour and a
going?
half.
An hour and a half. That's not too bad.
Hell yeah, great job.
Took about the amount of time I expected it would. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. Thanks again, buddy, for hanging out with me and listening to my my thoughts.
Hell yeah, man. Thank you for having those thoughts and putting in the effort to write them down in such a way where we can have a reading and discussion about them.
Oh yeah, it's my pleasure. I don't know what Triple F
Appreciate you.
Games number 3 is going to be, but when a game when a popular, critically acclaimed game sufficiently annoys me next, that'll probably be it.
Hell yeah.
All right, folks out there, thank you for tuning in. If you tuned in on the stream, or if you're watching this on YouTube down the line, or if you're from Gamers Prey, assessing whether you should DMCA us, please don't, but I hope you enjoyed the video. And follow us on Instagram and YouTube and all the other stuff. Subscribe if you feel like giving us a little bit of money.
Hey, we like that money.
And yeah, check out our friends that we've got links to down there. We got DJ Yev, we got Brian Keith, we got Alejandro, our good art and music making buds. Check out their shit.
And Ivan holding down the Instagram.
That's me. I do that. All right, and until next time, this has been How to Kickflip a Horse, and
I'm about to bust.
night, everyone.
Bye.